long evening, so you're very excited now you get to hear from the accountant. My name is Bob Grogan, and I'm running for state treasurer. I'm a CPA and a certified fraud examiner. If I get elected, I'll be the first CPA in the history of Illinois as treasurer. Now I go and say that everywhere I go because it always gets people's attention. And generally when you see it in a room like this, the first reaction is, really? Could that be? You think about it for a second. And then you see it across the room kind of going, well, it's Illinois. I'm also the elected county auditor in DuPage County. Out in some of the bigger counties, we elect our auditors. So I've been elected twice in a county of 1 million people. So I actually can do accounting and politics at the same time. Now, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm up every day, tossing and turning, wondering, why am I doing this? I found that running for office is not for normal people. It's any wonder that we get through this stuff because it's not easy. It's a lot of time away from my wife, my kids, and I'll tell you, so people ask, why are you running? And I'll tell you, the reason I'm running because if qualified people don't run, lawyers do. Now, the first time I ever said that, somebody shouted out from the audience, Lincoln was a lawyer. I said, Lincoln would have had the common sense not to run for treasurer. Now, so the treasurer's office said there's never been a CPA. Let me just tell you a few of the treasurers we have had, at least in my lifetime. Pat Quinn was a treasurer. Lexi Janulius, Alan Dixon, Adlai Stevenson, Roland Burris. So it's interesting, the treasurer's office, it's not necessarily for people who want to be treasurer. And I'll tell you, I encounter that all the time. I have a primary opponent, and I also have a general election opponent. And I feel like I'm the only guy running for treasurer. My primary opponent, and he didn't bother to come here, so I'll say his name. It's former super minority leader Tom Cross. And he gets up, and he's an attorney, which obviously that's my earlier joke. He gets up, and he's got 2 big platforms in what he says. He says, first, that he wants to balance the budget by suing the other parts of government. Yeah, and I got to tell you, only a career politician would think you can sue your way out of a fiscal crisis. Really. The other part of his platform is he will tell you that he's been in Springfield for 20 years, so he knows all of Mike Madigan's tricks. And the first time he ever said that, I got handed the microphone and I said, just because you've been a witness to a 20-year bank robbery does not make you qualified to be the state's banks. So, a little bit about me personally. I have 1 wife, 2 car payments, and 3 kids. I'm just the normal guy that knows how to do a job. When I first took office in DuPage, within 6 weeks of taking office, I made DuPage the first county in the state of Illinois to put its checkbook online. Nobody asked me to do it. Nobody suggested it. Didn't have to hire consultants or programmers. Just did it because I actually understand accounting. Since I've been there, I've also gotten 3 people convicted in squeaky clean DuPage. So, obviously, as a certified fraud examiner, I go to Springfield. I'm not planning on being very popular. And I got to tell you, out on the political trail, I certainly feel that coming. It's an ugly business. They photoshopped my head onto somebody else's face or body. And what they didn't realize is that the guy that they did that to, the body, was the Dos Equis guy. So that made the accountant the most interesting guy in the world. It's a really big accountant. So I've been traveling around the state. So it's not just about being qualified. Because if it was just about qualifications, Mitt Romney would be president, right? So it's also about being able to campaign. I'll tell you, one of the problems with the Republican Party is we think being right is good enough. And there's more than that. Because only a third of the people think we're right. And another third think that they're right. And that middle third, they want to know whether they want to have a beer with you or not. And we've lost touch with that. We really have. We've lost touch with Joe Sixpack. And we've become the party of Joe Cognac. We need to get back to working hard, talking to people, being at the church picnic, the chamber meeting, and actually going out there and asking for people's votes. Because they're not going to always agree with us. But if they know you, they're going to be much more tolerant and we're more likely to win. This is hard. This is hard stuff. Honestly, we need to elect a Republican governor. We need to elect a lot more Republicans. I'll share with you my weakness. So I've been spending most of the last 20 years doing grassroots stuff. I've been a precinct committeeman for 16 years. I was the youngest guy in the room for 10. Now I teach all the new committeeman training for all of DuPage County. I teach people how to ring doorbells, how to do the old-fashioned stuff. There's 700 plus committeemen at DuPage. So I talk to them for 3 hours, telling them that, how to get back to that old-fashioned way of doing things. So then my weakness is, I don't know how to raise money very well. It's not my thing. I've been working with committeemen in the trenches. So, a little inside baseball. I've been doing this for a year. Tom Cross, former super minority leader Tom Cross, he was going to run for Attorney General, and then he was going to be minority leader, and then he finally decided to be treasurer. So he comes in, sometime late August, decides he has to sit down with me. It's the whole get out of the race thing. And some pleasantries were exchanged, and finally he says, the big push, how are you going to raise the money? And I said, it's going to be easier for me to learn how to raise money than for you to learn how to be an accountant. Illinois has many problems. And one of the biggest ones is that we elect people and they don't do the job as assigned. This thing that he wants to go and sue the other parts of government to enforce the constitutional provision that we have to have a balanced budget. We all want a balanced budget, right? Easy show of hands. But who is better served by making the treasurer's office into a copy of the Attorney General's office with training wheels? It's about safety, soundness, and return. It's about doing the job as assigned. It's about preventing things like happened in Dixon, Illinois. It's about trying to get a little bit better interest, on our money. So I may not be the big money guy, but I am the grassroots guy. This is my, I think, third time in Joe Davies in less than a year. I was here at the picnic. I've been here at the Halloween parade, which we will be coming back to that Halloween parade. I will tell you. Frozen to death, win, lose, or draw. I will be coming back to that. So we have to just do the jobs as assigned. We have to do what's really the work of government and make government more efficient, make the programs that are there run better and eliminate half of those, right? Mm-hmm. So here's my thing. I haven't been ringing doorbells for the last 16 years thinking that elections go to the highest bidder. It goes to the hardest worker and the best qualified person. And the only way that happens is for people in this room and rooms across the state to actually talk to their neighbors, their crazy brother-in-law, and their coworkers, and tell them, I met a guy today, he's actually a CPA running for treasurer, and maybe he can change Illinois. Thank you very much.